everyone. I'm Verna Odoom of mommyandme.com. I'm so glad you're here again today. I just wanted to show you how simple it is to make an item that our son Micah loves. He's 2 years old, and of course, as you know, if you've been following the blog, he does have food allergies, and so I typically make his foods at home from scratch, but sometimes I use a product to help me with whatever I want to make for Micah because I found that they have taken the care to make sure there aren't those allergens that can make him sick. So today, as I promised you in a haul video that I recently released, I am going to show you how easy it is to make something that your entire family can love, not just that child or yourself who has food allergies. Now, it is going to be a delicious bread. It's a cinnamon raisin bread, and I start with this product here. I showed it to you on that haul video. It's called bread mix, as you can see, very simple on the front, and it's made from Namaste Foods. And right on the front of the packaging, they tell you what is not going to be found in here, which I really love that they made it this easy. It's made in a dedicated facility that's free of the 8 allergens, the common allergens, many of which Micah is allergic to. So this was really important to us when we got it. But as I said, I take this as kind of the baseline, and I use this recipe that's on the back, and then I add my own ingredients to make it the raisin cinnamon bread that he really enjoys. So I'm going to show you how quickly you can make this and how fast your family is going to eat it up as well. All right, I put all of my ingredients out so that it would be simple and we could go through this pretty quickly. What I have in this first bowl are 3 eggs, egg whites, and I have 1 whole egg. I'm going to pour that into our mixing bowl here. The next ingredient that we have is yeast. It's a yeast ingredient, and it actually went into a cup of warm water, and you have to set it aside for at least 5 minutes. It's been a little longer than that, but I'm going to pour that in. That's going to help us with our bread, make it rise, obviously. The next thing I have is oil. We use corn oil because Micah is allergic to soy, and a lot of oils are soybean oil, but we use corn oil for him. That is 1/4 cup of oil, by the way. Add that to our wet ingredients. And I'm just going to mix that up a little bit so it's all nice and stirred and mixed and combined. Now the next thing we're going to do is work on the dry portion of our recipe. And what that means is I'm going to turn around and grab the bread mix, which actually comes right in the packaging as well, just like the packet of yeast did. So both of those are right in the bag. And you just use this bread mix, and you're going to add some dry ingredients to this. So let me go ahead and stack up some of my bowls here. Sorry about that clinking. And I'm going to give us some space so that we can go with our next ingredients. What I have here is 1/4 cup of brown sugar. The bag called for 1/4 cup of white sugar, but we're going to use brown sugar because we like that. And I have another spoon that I'm going to use to kind of mix my dry ingredients. Then I have 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon that is here, and I grated that here at the house. Now we still have raisins on the table, and you'll see how we have to put those in a little later. We want to blend this. And so now that we have all of our ingredients mixed, I'm going to add the wet to the dry. And make sure you get it all in there. Put that to the side. I'm just going to mix it up just a little bit to kind of blend it. And you are actually now going to pick up the blender and go ahead and work with your mixture. And what you want to make sure while you're blending, you're going to blend for 3 minutes on medium speed. And you'll notice that the bread starts to go around and get kind of caught up. And what you're going to want to do is just push the bread mix down so that all of the bread mix can be combined. All right? Let me wipe some of this off the spoon because we don't want to lose any of that delicious bread. Okay, put that off to the side. All right, now I'm going to mix. And I am going to leave you for a few minutes because I'm sure you don't want to listen to this whole time. 3 minutes on medium. And the next thing we're going to do is we are going to put our raisins, mix our raisins into our blended mix here. And you're just really folding them in because the raisins are just going to be kind of all over the mixture. So I just kind of stir it. And get everything off the sides. All right. And now we're going to bring in our pan. And I've already turned the oven on to preheat it to 350 degrees, so that is all set for the bread. But with bread, you have to let it rise. So I'm actually going to have to set this aside once I get it into the pan for about 30 minutes and allow it to rise a little bit. And you want to set it someplace that's pretty warm. So I went ahead and turned the oven on a little early so that the bread would have a chance to rise near something warm. It's gotten to a very good temperature, so that should work very well. So, and you should notice, as I am, that it's kind of difficult to get all this bread batter out. But if you work with it, you can get most of it. And I am going to leave it there. All right. And I have an extra spoon that I can take and push off that excess bread batter. I don't want to lose any of it if we can avoid it. And you want to go ahead and spread out the bread so that it's going down into the corners. It doesn't have to be even, and it doesn't have to be fancy, just to make sure that you have it all spread to the corners so that it can have an opportunity to take the shape of the pan. All right, well, that looks great to me. So the next step, as we said, is to put it near something warm. The stove is on. You actually cover it up. So I have a towel, cover it loosely, and just lay it on the stove. I'm going to put it over here. And that's it for now, and I will be back in 30 minutes to go ahead and help you get it into the oven. See you. All right, we are back, and I just want to let you know the house smells wonderful. It's been about 70 minutes since we put the bread into the oven. I did check it a while ago, and it wasn't quite ready, so I think it's done now. So go ahead and reach in here and pull it out. And set it on the table and just let you take a look at it. It's very hot. I will go ahead and try to take that foil off. And take a look there. You can see our nice crust on the top. Very nice and flaky. And it's quite hot, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to cut into this one to taste it, but this is television, and we definitely want to have something that you can take a look at and see a tasting of. So I did make one a little earlier, and you can tell the difference. If you take a look at this one down here, this bread has kind of settled and is now basically the size that it's going to be when you eat it. And I am going to go ahead and cut a slice of this and let you know how it tastes. Obviously, there's nothing nicer than a piece of warm bread, and in about 20 minutes that one will be warm enough or cool enough for me to go ahead and try it. But I just wanted you to see me take a bite of this bread here, so you would know what it looks like on the inside. And take a look. Beautiful piece of bread. You can see the raisins throughout. Turn around so you can see them on the back. Micah is going to love this. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bite and let you know what it tastes like. Oh, that is wonderful. As I said, he likes his with butter. So unfortunately, he is sleeping right now. Typically, the time that I'm able to get my cooking done is when he's sleeping. So he's not going to be able to have this one hot and straight out of the oven. One thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and take time to slice your bread once it cools off. And this is what I do. I slice it and I go ahead and put it in the freezer. And that way, whenever Michael wants some bread, I'm able to take it out of the freezer. Excuse me, I'm still swallowing. It's so good. Able to take it out of the freezer, and I can just pop it into the toaster. And I usually put it in there twice, once to kind of thaw it, and the second time to actually toast it. We put the butter on it, and he is happy. So thank you so much for joining me. And again, as I said, everybody in your family is going to love this, and they are going to want to have this quite often. So get used to putting this recipe together. Also, why don't you take some time and let me know what you try in your bread. Some people do different types of items. I did the raisin cinnamon. You might want to do a walnut. Michael is allergic to walnuts, but you might want to do a walnut cinnamon raisin or something like that. So write me back, let me know what you tried, and tell me how it worked out for you. Until we meet again, thanks so much. Be sure to stay happy and healthy. Bye-bye.